Sunshine and Obsidian, Two Worlds, One Life, by Lori Mendelson and Harley, Tammy, and Destiny Rogler. This is our story. She walked into my life and heart in the same moment. She was so terribly tiny, with the smallest buds for ears and eyes that were not quite ready to open. I waited quietly in anticipation, sitting on the edge of the whelping box Terry built in her family room. The room was home to a beautiful white cockatoo, monitoring the mewing house kittens from its cage. Mercedes, beautiful golden doggy mom, watched them, then determining I was safe, nosed my hand for scratches behind her ears, and began cleaning, in between cleaning and nursing her pups. There were so many. I opened my heart and waited to see what would happen. The puppies practiced using their legs, tripping the light fantastic around the large wooden box, smelling their way, falling over each other, touching, licking, listening. It left me breathless as only new birth can. It was the most beautiful ballet I had ever seen. She walked toward me, dark blonde, brownish red hair, still getting used to her land legs, and a single curl over the top of her nose. She crossed the box to where I sat and gently lifted her. We became known to each other. I inhaled her sweet puppy breath while she leaned against me, learning my heartbeat, my scent, and my touch. Puppy supper may have appeared awkward to others, but she was an unchoreographed dance to me, testing the ground, learning her strength as she found Mercedes' nipple to suck hungrily along with her 8 siblings. Each ate enthusiastically until they had their fill or were nudged away by another hungry pup. Soon they fell asleep in pods reminiscent of the elephant seals at Año Nuevo State Park in California, where seals gather and lay in pods on shore. The only possible name for her was Sunshine. That's right, that's you. Let's see. A reflection of her disposition and charm. We grew and learned together. I taught her English, she taught me dog. We traveled together for work. She taught me doggy soccer roles. We went to parks when she was off duty and became completely devoted to each other. She was provided ongoing assistance to me when I experienced anxiety. I'm an incest survivor with PTSD and trained her to touch me if I started to disassociate. If I did not respond to her, then she was to jump on me. Later, I was delighted to see the same task performed by a working dog on his handler, a soldier also with PTSD. She assists me with panic, anxiety, and has literally sat on my feet, grounding me until I become calmer. Sunshine trained to attend meetings laying for hours, just like this, at my side, bumping my leg with her head every now and again to remind me she was there. The only time she stood up was to go outside for a break. With a disability others can't see, I did not know what the community response would be to Sunshine. The first few years we were together, when asked, I let people know she was a psychiatric service dog. There were many cautious replies of, and I see. But as time has gone on, I have found more often when I tell people how she helps me with depression and anxiety, they respond with, how wonderful, how do I get one? Why did I tell people my disability when I didn't have to? To help end the stigma surrounding those of us who identify as having mental health needs. It's one part of me, it does not define me. And since many people with psychiatric and other disabilities don't know their rights to own service dogs, I want to let them know it's one tool they can utilize in their wellness box. I attempted to handle complaints as an educational opportunity. Concerns from businesses, hospitals, and police and fire departments have resulted in staff trainings and employee manuals changing to reflect how to work with people with service dogs. In 10 years, we've never been asked to leave anywhere because of her behavior. For every instance where I have been yelled at, escorted out of buildings, challenged to prove she is a service dog, and treated with disrespect, I have a dozen other instances of restaurant owners, business managers, storekeepers, sales associates, and librarians who greet me asking appropriately. My favorite was going into a barbecue joint, and before I could tell the owner she was my service dog, he said, "Get that dog in here." Talk about feeling welcomed. Many people have asked what she does for me, and in many cases, how they can get a service animal. I have devoted part of my life to help people obtain service dogs, their rights and responsibilities, and helping troubleshoot situations such as housing discrimination. I'm honored to have psychiatrists, social workers, colleagues, therapists, and teachers refer clients to me to assist them in getting service dogs. This has culminated in an invitation to sit on a panel for the Tennessee Disability Law and Advocacy Center, which is now Tennessee Disability Rights, the Disability Coalition Collaboration on Service Dogs, helping provide information and education to the community. Terry, Sunshine's breeder, was amazed to learn how much Sunshine does for me, and in a wonderfully generous act, offered to donate a puppy as a prospective service dog to a person with a disability. But there was more. She wanted me to be the person to select the recipient of the puppy. I was thrilled, and yet what a responsibility. I looked for just the right forever home for this new service dog, puppy to be. However, I was reminded that when you are least expecting it, great things happen. I worked for a nonprofit organization that held a conference in Middle Tennessee where we live. I was delighted to learn the Mugler family would be coming from Iowa to attend, and was thrilled to meet them from all the great stories I had heard about them. Tammy and her two lovely daughters, Harley and her younger sister, Destiny, came. Harley has Angelman syndrome. Once I asked her what the definition of it was, and she said, brain not broken, just a few curves in the road. Who doesn't? We all really connected at the conference, and they love Sunshine. Tammy told me how wonderful a service dog would be for Harley when I mentioned the available puppy. We knew that what needed to happen, and that story belongs to Tammy, Destiny, and Harley. And this is Tammy's story. There we were, walking along the carpeted walkway, heading for our first information session at the annual Microboards Conference in Nashville, Tennessee, when we happened upon her, sitting there silently, but so obviously alert, her head resting on her paw as her eyes darted out, keeping a vigilant watch over her charge. A woman greeting people, handing out programs and giving directions was standing very close by, close enough, in fact, that every few seconds she would reach down and gently touch the mound of blonde curls at her feet. With her long skirt, loose flowing blouse, and long wavy hair, she resembled a flower child, perhaps lost in a time warp, and that would be me. She projected warmth and love with every word, every gesture. My daughters, Destiny and Harley, were immediately distracted by the beautiful golden girl that lay at the woman's feet. Admiring the dog, I spoke to my kids as the woman handed me our name badges. Wow, girls, isn't she beautiful? A bubbly voice responded, why, thank you, but isn't my dog pretty too? We all laughed at her humor and agreed the dog was indeed pretty too. I then asked what her companion's name was and her breed. Well, this is Sunshine, she's a golden doodle, and she's my service dog. I had never heard of a golden doodle before, but definitely agreed that Sunshine was the perfect name for this beauty. We visited a bit about service animals, educating my girls on the various tasks they could perform. My daughter Destiny had wanted a dog for many years, but with Harley's disabilities, we just couldn't get any lost soul looking for a home. I grew up with many animals and very much wanted my children to experience the unconditional love of a dog, but it wasn't just in the stars, not yet anyway. The woman introduced herself as Lori, and we continued our conversation about her dog, disabilities, and life in general over the next few days. Harley continued to get very excited each time she saw Sunshine. Destiny, who was painfully shy the majority of the time, finally mustered up the courage to ask if she could pet Lori's companion during a break from workshops. Destiny knew that working dogs shouldn't be pet or played with, but she was going crazy to touch that dog's long curls. Lori thanked Destiny for asking first, and since we were on break, she let Destiny reach out to Sunshine, who glanced up at her charge for permission. Lori assured Sunshine it was okay, and she and Destiny became fast friends. Being more comfortable now, Destiny asked what kinds of things Sunshine did for her. Lori was fabulous and explained that she is an individual with an invisible disability and has extreme anxiety in crowded places, large groups, and sometimes going into the grocery store can make her heart race. She continued in great detail that Sunshine was very sensitive to her moods and her needs, that when she began to feel the fear rising, Sunshine moves very close to her, gently nudging her hand to remind Lori to stay in the present. Destiny asked, Does it help to pet her when you get stressed? Who had noticed Lori touching Sunshine's head repeatedly while working? Yes, it does. It helps me a lot in remaining calm. Now I can enjoy many things in life I was missing out on. I can go out and about much more. Sunshine has opened a new door for me. I no longer stay home due to fear. I wish I could have a dog, Mom. You should get a dog for Sissy, and then we could share it. I responded with a smile. Oh, that would be perfect, wouldn't it? But service dogs are very expensive. Thus began the conversation that would change all our lives forever. Lori talked about Sunshine's breeder, Terry Rowland, who was so impressed with the difference Sunshine was making in Lori's life that Terry wanted to donate a pup to someone in need to be used as their service dog. Lori told us excitedly that Terry had given her the honor of selecting the recipient. Lori had been watching Harley and Destiny all weekend and fell in love with the joyous smile that emanated from Harley every time she saw Sunshine walk by. Her heart tugged, knowing how desperately Destiny wanted a dog, and mostly she knew the importance of getting the right dog for Harley. Lori took me aside and asked if I would be interested in a service puppy, as she very much wanted to give this gift to Harley. We emailed the breeder together and explained our unique situation, Harley's disability, and her sister's desire to help with the pup. The very next day, we were on our way to Terry's and her gorgeous puppies. From our conversation, Terry felt that Destiny should choose the pup. Upon our arrival, it was immediately clear to Terry just how painfully shy Destiny is, and it became even more important that she be a part of the process. Well, it wasn't easy or quick, but Terry never rushed her. She let Destiny play with the pups as long as she wanted and talked with us about vet care, potty training, grooming, mostly about how much love would be required. Destiny grinned ear to ear those words. She knew she could do that. After a thoughtful 2 hours, Destiny wanted to show 2 of the pups to her sister, who was waiting outside with our family friend. Harley was excited to see the puppies and blew kisses at them over and over. Destiny knew which was the right pup for Harley, and we took him home with us. On our long drive back to Iowa, the little pup cried relentlessly for his mommy and siblings. Harley surprised us all when she reached out to him, offering her blankies comfort. The pup climbed up on the seat and curled up tightly next to Harley, and she never made another sound. That is, he never made another sound until we took him away from Harley. Their connection was so immediate and amazing. Those 2 bonded like long-lost loves, confirming Destiny had indeed made the right choice. A few days later, Destiny chose a name for our pup, Obsidian. She explained that in folklore, the obsidian stone is also known as the Apache tear, believed to protect us from negativity and harm. Obi, as we now call him, has woven himself into the very fabric of our lives, and we cannot imagine a day without him. He not only warns us of upcoming seizures and changes in Harley's blood sugar, he picks up items that she drops from time to time. But most importantly, Obi has brought us all closer together on this journey. After a long day at a crowded holiday festival in a nearby town, Destiny proclaimed, "You know, Mom, I think Obi helps me. People notice me when I'm with him, and they ask me questions about him. It makes me talk more to people." Indeed it does. So while Sunshine and Obi live very different worlds, they are living very similar lives and bringing independence to those who need it most. The beginning. Epilogue. February 2014, Tammy Mugler. Obi has changed all of our lives in so many ways. Destiny does have such great issues with her shyness, and as she has gotten older, now often can suffer from extreme anxiety in large groups on public situations. She really wished she had Obi at college with her. She still takes him out rollerblading with her or bike riding in the summer months. Some days, when we're at a mall, she will insist we should have left him at home, as he will draw so much attention, which of course she hates. But the day always ends with her snuggled up in the back seat with him, telling him how popular and amazing he is. She spends time in her room, and when she lets him in, he knows how lucky he is and snuggles up with her on her bed, or lets her paint his toenails. He doesn't mind a bit. While he is amazing at detecting Harley's seizures before they happen, he is just as equally amazing at knowing when Destiny needs some extra attention too. When her anxiety is high, he is right there at her feet, putting his paw in her lap and offering comfort. Harley has learned to actually throw a ball, something we spent many years trying to teach her. She learned within a year after getting Obi. She loves to throw his ball for him. Although it doesn't get very far, he will still fetch it and bring it back to her. She takes great pride in feeding him every single day, and has learned to dump out a bowl by doing this. A very hard, fine motor skill, by the way. Every day, every year, he teaches us all something. Not a moment goes by that Obsidian doesn't have a great impact on each of us. Every single day we are grateful for having Lori and Terry in our lives. Epilogue. Lori, May 2015. Terry, too, has maintained her commitment to helping people with disabilities, frequently donating puppies to be trained as service dogs to people in need. Sunshine even has a service dog site on Terry's website, and I just started a blog called servicedogsforyou.com, and that's service dogs, F-U-R-U. If you're interested in being on that receiving blogs, there's a sheet outside that you can sign your name on. Dogs are very smart. They already know what we want. They already know how to do what we want them to do. They just don't know the English words for it. This is one of the reasons training is important. It's also important because in today's world, many people have had to leave their pets behind to the Humane Society and other organizations due to foreclosures, unemployment, medical expenses, and other concerns. If your dog is socialized, it will have a much better chance of being adopted than one who is out of control. Did you know dogs can count? Try putting 4 treats in your pocket and giving them 3. One of my favorite cartoons is Timmy in the lake calling out to Lassie on the shore, "Lassie, get help! Lassie, get help!" The next thing we see is Lassie lying down on a psychiatrist's couch. And they are still dogs. I don't believe it's a good idea to allow dogs to be too close to people's spaces, especially children's. We don't know all the communication aspects of dogs, and they've been known to attack for no reason we can discern. But maybe there was a change in eye contact or body movement that signaled danger to them. We just don't know, so caution is always good. When I read this out loud to my husband, Sunshine groaned. Sunshine has a boyfriend, Buddy. They met 5 years ago and really love each other. Spend a lot of time together when Sunshine's off duty. His mom, we call Buddy Mama, and I help each other raise our dogs because, as with raising children, raising a dog takes a village. And I'm always cautious about leaving them alone because even dogs that know each other sometimes come to blows. No soldier has ever stood at attention as sharply as Sunshine and Buddy do when they hear the saran wrap opening for chicken or cheese. Sunshine and I share puddles, cheese, walks, demonstrations, and have never come to an agreement about feeding time when we switch to daylight savings time. She adores my husband, Ross. He is part of her pack. My therapist told me one of the differences between monkeys and dogs is when you point to something, monkeys won't look at the site which you're pointing to, but dogs will. As smart as Sunshine is, she has not yet learned that a pink tennis ball will not bounce back when you're leaning out of the car window and drop it. Thank you.